Some days it's just so glaringly obvious how simple the solution to the world's troubles really is. And lately I've been thinking a lot about the concept of self-ownership and private property rights, and how these really are the foundation for a free, just, and loving world. Um, and it's so annoying how statist people on the right and on the left fail to comprehend this very, very simple concept of self-ownership. The idea that I own me and my actions, and you own you and yours. It's very simple. And so I was in the farm store today, shopping for some new pants. I'm sure many of you are probably like, thank God, finally. But anyway, I was over in the gun section where there was two guys talking about, they were comparing guns and cars, and how there's a registry on cars, and how should there be a registry on guns? And I was like, well, I don't think there should be a registry on either of those things. And they kind of looked at me in fear. And then somehow the conversation turned to this idea of drunk driving, and how the statist response to drunk driving is, we need to prevent it. We need, to have cops out there on patrol, cracking down on drunk driving. And I was just like, well, hold on a minute here. We already have laws against, hitting somebody's property or hitting somebody with your car. I mean, even in natural law, this is a violation of private property or somebody's bodily autonomy, self-ownership. It breaks the non-aggression principle to drive your car into somebody's property or person. So why do we need an extra measure of should we go out of our way to prevent such means by going to the other extreme and using violence against somebody who hasn't actually violated anyone's rights? They just chose to, get intoxicated and get behind the wheel. And their response to this is like, well, we gotta prevent that from happening. We gotta make sure that they aren't going to, do anything bad while they're intoxicated behind the wheel. And I could tell, both of these men are conservatives, and, they're in the gun section, ogling these guns, and they couldn't see the hypocrisy of that position, because if you are going to advocate for the prevention of a crime from taking place, or if you're going to advocate that we crack down on people who haven't committed crimes yet, but might, right? When it comes to drunk driving, that if you advocate for locking those people up, it's the exact same argument that leftists and liberals use to advocate for the disarmament. It's the exact same argument. Something bad might happen. It's living in the land of what if, and it's a fear-based paradigm that allows the strong arm of the state to come in and crush you. It's, you know, it's been said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that could not be any more true, because that's exactly the kind of mentality that both people on the right and the left have. They advocate for the greatest of evils, the state, because they're scared of what might happen without it. And so, as a self-proclaimed anarchist and voluntarist, I am often confronted with suspicion by both people on the right and on the left. Right-wingers tend to think that I'm some kind of undercover communist, whereas left-wingers, you know, if they see me, you know, strapped with a gun, you know, they think I'm just a conservative redneck or something. Both camps of these people both of these camps are closer to each other than I am to either one of these camps. They have more in common with each other than I do with either of them. And the reason is that both of these camps of people do not fully understand the concept of self-ownership and private property rights. Both of them, in one way or another, advocate for the stripping of private property rights, usually through taxation, and then, of course, I mean, there's so many ways that they do this. I mean, the war on drugs, you know, the idea that you can't put a substance into your own body. It's like, again, because, well, something bad might happen. This is not congruent with a free society. Okay, so that's a conservative way that statists go after private property rights and self-ownership. And on the liberal side of things, it's, you know, they'll say they advocate for consent and my body, my choice, but then, of course, taxation, that goes completely out the window. I mean, you had people on the left calling for, you know, locking people into quarantine camps these past 4 years, and, you know, mask mandates. Like, it's such a simple concept. I own my body. You own yours. You do not have a right to compel anything against my body. And you do not have the right to compel me to pay money to your collectivist machine either. I don't care how great you think the good is you're supporting. It's the ends do not justify the means. And it's really, I mean, it's just really ironic how, like, conservatives are so afraid of communism and liberals are so afraid of fascism. But they're just the mirror image of that. They advocate for pretty much the exact same kinds of tyranny. It's just like, how are we gonna get there? Like, liberals, it's, you know, they want the party to control the corporation, and conservative, you know, the neocons, it's, you know, the corporation should control the state, which is fascism. It's just, if you really want a loving, free society, then you need to understand self-ownership and private property rights. These are the very foundation of such a place.